I'm able to read everything, and you'll pretend like you're able to also process everything, all right? Good evening. Thank you, to the entire team of T-Hub. It's always a pleasure. It's always great, a feeling of great pride when I come back to T-Hub because, it's like seeing your kid growing up. PJN was just telling me, he was very fondly reminiscing that on 2000, was it? Right, 6th June. See, the state of Telangana was formed on the 2nd of June, 2014. And I think exactly 2 days or 3 days later, myself and my then IT secretary, Harpreet Singh, and there was somebody else, I don't remember who, we were all at ISB, the Indian School of Business. And then we had a meeting with PJN and his team of Triple IT. We had Ajit was then, Ajit Rangnekar, I don't know where he is now. Is he here? Rangnekar was the dean of ISB. And then there was a bunch of us, including Srini and others, who all, initially sat there, were trying to process, understand a little bit about innovation, try and understand, what needs to be done in Hyderabad, etc. One of the questions very innocuously that I asked, I think that may have been very naive at that point of time to all those who gathered around. I said, what is the X factor that Bangalore has, which Hyderabad doesn't? Why is it that we see, this whole coinage of Silicon Valley and, a city of startups, etc., etc., that entire sheen around Bangalore, not in Hyderabad and other cities. So then we started thinking. We said, what are the elements that Hyderabad is missing? And then, we started thinking, and then that's how PJN was gracious. He said, we have a bare shell in Triple IT campus that you can use to set up possibly India's largest technology incubator. So that's how the whole concept of T-Hub evolved over a couple of hours of conversation. And I was super delighted because, PJN offered me something that was readily available almost. All we needed to do was basically spruce it up, do up the interiors and get going. So that's how 2015, on the 5th of November, exactly 7 years ago, the first building of T-Hub was launched. Once it came into being, I think it spurred a lot of chatter, it spurred a lot of conversations, it spurred a lot of very interesting discussions among the youngsters, among entrepreneurs, among the startup community that a government is actually driving. Because if you look around the world, very, very rarely do you see governments actually playing the role of enablers. Governments typically come out with policies. Governments typically come out with regulatory compliances. In fact, governments more often than not end up being stiflers. If you look at what's happening in the Web3 and crypto world today, I think you would agree with me. Governments typically end up being the stiflers of innovation in a lot of ways. Because, typically we tend to say, okay, this is not right, that is not right, and, you should not be doing this, there are lines you don't cross, etc., etc. That kind of tends to put a huge roadblock on innovation. But in our case, what we did was we put together a cross-sectional team with the best minds from the government, industry, and academia coming together to build a truly world-class institution. And today when PJN was complimenting me and telling me that, he fondly remembers and recollects days we had met in 2014, I am also equally proud and equally happy that it is shaped up so well and, so beautifully. But I think as MS put it, where is he? Right. As MS put it, I think we've just reached the base camp. I think we have, the entire Mount Everest, the summit to conquer. We have so much to scale, so much to grow. And I don't think I'll have the luxury of calling my state a startup state for very long, because the state has now been around for 8+ years. So I think there comes a time when you have to start growing up also. Can't be called a startup anymore.